Hi everyone, so thank you for coming. Did you check the Google Classroom Introduction to Logic? There is the 3 main reference books there. Right, the 3 books here. And there are additional readings. Yeah, that you can read. The additional reading is like the optional, but they are very nice. Okay, and the main reference, of course, you're supposed to read the 3 of them. So, did you know, or you just know now?
I just know now.
Okay, okay. So I hope you can start to read. Okay. Can you open your screen? Thank you. Thank you. When we talk to each other and I can see you, you can see me. Right? That is communication. So even if you don't talk anything, at least I can see your mimic. Maybe you scratch your head. So, so I know you probably don't understand or not. So, but if I cannot see you, I cannot hear you. So it's like talking to the wall. Right. Okay, so today we'll discuss about argument and evaluating argument. Where is it? There, in the argument, okay? So you can view the materials, there are 2 materials there, argument and evaluating argument. So you can download. Okay, let's start. Okay. So what is an argument? Yeah, so in this lesson you will learn about identifying the structure of argument, okay, and I hope you can state what is an inference indicator, and you're supposed to know how to create an inference diagram, okay, and what is complex argument. Okay, so what is argument? What is your opinion? What is argument? Anyone?
Something to argue about.
So how do you know that this is an argument or not? How do you know that this is an argument and this is not? Say you have argument.
If there are different opinions.
Yes.
If there are different opinions from each other and want to say that they are the right one, they will argument.
Like that. Any other opinion?
Is it a statement, sir?
A statement only is an argument?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so is there any other opinion? Jocelyn? Tamara?
I think it's a statement to argue something from our view.
Billy.
I think it's like a reasoning to prove your point.
Nah, I think argument in here is reasoning, okay, to prove your point. That's correct. Tamara, very good. Yeah. So argument here does not mean you fight. Okay. So argument is basically a sequence of reasoning. okay, to prove your point. So argument always have two parts. Okay? One is the premises, something that you provide, okay, evidence or proof. And second is the conclusion itself. Okay, so if only the premises, it's not argument. If only the conclusion is not argument. So must have two components. Okay, they can be in one sentence. The two of them can be in one sentence, not necessarily two sentences. Okay. So the argument occurs only when you intend to set the premises. Yeah. Again, premises and conclusion are statements, okay, that support or prove the conclusion. Okay. So we call this statement as proposition in the jargon. Why we don't just call them statement? Because proposition is statement that can be true or false. Okay? It's not just the usual statement. It is a statement that has value either true or false. Yeah? So it must be declarative sentence. It's not a question. It's not a command. Yeah? Without exclamation. It's a statement, but it must have value. Either true or false, cannot be both. It cannot be both values of true and false. Must either true or false. So then premises and conclusion of argument are always proposition. Clear? Yeah? So now, starting okay, with the definition, okay, the formal definition. So an argument is an assertion that a given set of propositions. So say you have several propositions, P1, P2, P3 until Pn. Okay, these propositions are called premises that has a consequence, okay, or yet another proposition called Q. Okay? Q is called conclusion. So conclusion must be the consequence of the premises. So then we write an argument shortly as this, okay, P1, P2, until Pn, and then that symbol, okay, that symbol represents if then. Okay. If P1, P2 until Pn is correct, is true, are true, okay, because we have many, so are true, then Q must be true. So an argument is in the form of if premises, then conclusion. Okay. If you make an argument, always in this kind of form. Can I make it different way? For example, conclusion because of the argument, because of the premises. Can, yeah? So the order does not really matter. Okay, you can put the conclusion first and then you explain why you reach that conclusion. Okay, so is it clear? And this is the definition of argument. So now if you have an argument in the form of if premises, then conclusion, then basically an argument is just a logic of if then, isn't it? Wait, there are many premises, but the point is you have if P, then Q. Okay. So it means the the whole logic of if P then Q will be used for an argument. Okay, later on, you can see we can put the values. Yeah? Okay. I'm not sure should we put this on, but okay, anyway, I will explain again later in the next slide, evaluating argument, but this is like the beginning. So if you have a proposition P, okay, any proposition, and you have another proposition Q, okay, so then the following three statements are actually equivalent. They are the same thing. Okay. First, if P, then Q. What is that small p, small q, small l? That is the variables. Okay. So inside that proposition can have several variables inside. Okay. So, the proposition can be a function, okay, of several variables, which is P, Q, R, and so on. Now, you have two propositions, P and Q, capital P, capital Q. Okay. Each of these propositions will have the small variables which are the same, it is P, Q, R, and so on. The small P, small Q, small R. Okay. So, the following three statements are equivalent. So if P, then Q. That is identical with saying that if P, then Q is valid. That is also identical by saying if P, then Q is a tautology. Okay. So the argument down here, I put as a value, for example, P. If you have P, okay, then you can conclude P or Q. Okay, what is the value of P, small p in here? What is the possible value of small p here? It's a proposition, so the value is proposition. What is proposition again?
Statement that must be true or false.
Yes, so that the possible value is either true or false. Correct? And Q is another proposition. So what is the possible value?
True or false?
Correct. So now if you have P is either true or false, okay, then what is the possible value of P or Q?
Let's make the P to key false or P false key true. Is it
Only two? How many possible values of P or Q? Oh, maybe we should check. Should I? Okay, anyway. Let's make it into whiteboard. Okay, let's make it into. So, you have P or you have Q. Okay. What is the possible value of P? What is the possible value of Q? And what is the possible value of P or Q? So P can be true, right? Can be true also. Can be false, right? So in this case, I will put true, false, true, false. So there is 4 possible values. So if P is true and Q is true, what is P or Q?
True.
Okay, true. Very good. So if P is true and Q is false, what is P or Q?
Either true or false.
Can-
False.
Who said false and who said true? Okay. Who said false? How many? Raise your hand. There is a Zoom. You can raise your hand. Okay, one. Raise the hand. What is that? What? Anthony, what you raise? True or false?
False.
False. Okay, who said false? Anthony, and then who else? Christopher also said false. Kenneth also said false. Okay. Oh, Penny also said false. Okay, okay. How many of you said true? Okay, let's do a Excel. Open your Excel then. Okay, open your Excel. Let's do it in Excel, okay? So that you will know. Open your Excel. What you will do. Can you see my Excel?
Yes.
P, I put Q, I put P or Q. Okay. P is either true or false, right? So I will put true. I will put 2 times true and false. Right? So 2 times false. Then I copy this true, true, false. And I put false, and I put false here. So these are the only possible values, isn't it? Correct? So how do you put OR in Excel? Okay, so you put OR. OR this one, right? P or Q. Okay, so you say true and true, true. Okay, very good. Okay, so you copy, you make it on your own. And then tell me, what is the result?
True, sir.
Okay?
True.
Oh, so your statement earlier was wrong?
What do we need to put, sir, in the Excel?
Okay, so you need to put first, you to put true, true, false, false, and then true, false, isn't it? These are the only possible values, right? After that, you create OR of P and Q. Okay, and then you copy this down. Okay, I will stop sharing. You share your screen. You share your screen. Now, who want to share first? Anthony, you want to share?
Wait a
We,
minute.
we need
Oh,
to
wait.
put equal or and then
Equal or, and then to the left 2 times, and then to the right, to the left 1 time. Oh, who want to share? You can do, right? Or. It's an or.
True.
True. So true and false become,
True.
True.
okay. True or false become true. False or true become true. Okay. The definition or will become false if and only if both P and Q are false. Correct. Okay. You should remember or. True or false is always true. Okay, so you see, right? True or false is always true. Yeah. So here, earlier you said, no, it's false. No, actually, what you thought as, if this is false, then becomes N. Okay, let's do it this one. P and Q. What is P and Q? So
True.
This one is N of P and Q. Okay, and then copy down.
False.
This one is
False.
false. How about this? The third row.
False. Also false.
False also. Okay, and then the last one is also false. Okay, so N, logical N, will only be true if and only if, okay, the premises are true. Okay. Logical or, on the other hand, will become false if and only if, okay, P and Q are false. If only one of them is false, still true. Surprise, surprise. Oh, any question, any argument, any comment? So what do you think? So earlier when you raised your hand, what happened? Why did you say that, or true or false become false? Why? Earlier.
Because I think the concept is like the P and Q. So if there is one false, it will be false too.
Okay, okay. So you thought it was like N, right? But remember, or in logic, yeah, or is always true except, okay, when both argument, okay, both premises are false. Oh, one more. What if then? If P, then Q. If P, then Q. Oh, how do you make this? Interesting, isn't it? And this is the basic truth value of an argument, isn't it? Because argument is always in the form of if P, then Q. Oh, let's find out. What is in Excel? What is in Excel to evaluate, okay, that if P, then Q. If then, okay, you use if equal if, okay. Let's run. If P, then Q. Okay, otherwise true. Okay. Yeah. If P, then Q. So in Excel, you do it this way. Okay. If P, then Q, or else you put true.
How do we do it?
Yeah, this is the formula.
Sir, you haven't screen share, sir.
Okay, then. Okay. Okay, or, and, not, oh, and then if then, you need to memorize. Huh? Of course, not is so easy. Should I put it? So, you see here, when, if P, then Q become false.
When the P is true
And,
and the key is false.
yes, if the conclusion, when the premise is true, but the conclusion is false, then that argument becomes false. Okay, so when your premise is false and the conclusion is true, or your premise is false and your conclusion is false, then that argument still true. This is important because later on you will get confused if you don't understand this one. You will ask, why have two things? The premise is false. Why the argument is correct? Why the argument is valid? You will ask like that. Because if P then Q, okay, if the premises are false, whatever the conclusion is, right, is always true. Interesting. Okay.
I don't know how to do the if P then Q.
Oh, you don't know? Oh.
I put comma, but it doesn't
Oh,
seem
that
to work.
in your maybe your Excel is a little bit different, but it's newer. Can you share your screen? I will help you. And if you put that, what will happen? Okay, then you, in your Excel, whenever I said comma, you put semicolon. Dot, comma. What is that? Semicolon, isn't it? Yes, that one also. But whenever in my Excel is comma, because you are not newer, so they, okay, that one we copy down.
Thank you, sir.
Working?
Yes.
Okay, good. How about the others? Okay, yeah. When an argument becomes false, if the premises are true, but the conclusion is false. Correct? Why is that so? Because an argument is in the form of if P, then Q. Okay. Is it clear now? Okay, I will postpone the talk about tautology later on. Huh? So let's come back here. So we discussed the first one and the second one, right? Valid means true, okay?
So I want to ask,
Yes, please go.
in the if then,
Mhm.
P then Q, if we change the true to false, what will happen?
Oh, you try. Yeah, of course you will not get. Okay, so say you put as false, what will happen? Okay, so what will happen? You will get N.
I got the same true.
Huh?
I got the same thing. It's true.
You get the same thing as true?
Yes, but the other is false.
Yes, that means
Only
the same as what? If
N
you
Q.
put it, that one is the same as N, isn't it?
Yes.
Look at the truth table of N and then compare it with the new one. When I put false here. So this is not correct. Okay, why? Because this is now N and if then become the same. Right? So this must be not correct. This must be true. This is correct. Okay, you can check if you want. Truth value of if then. And if you ask Google, right, truth value of if then. So there it is. Yeah. Google will give me the same answer. Right? Okay. So this is something that you will use so often, so you probably want to memorize this. Okay. Anyway, it's so easy to memorize, right? If P then Q will become false if and only if P is true and Q is false. Okay. Okay, until here, is there any other question, comment?
I want to ask, sir. So,
Yes, cool.
what does it mean, the true and false? Does it mean like the statement is true or what? I'm confused about the true and false.
Okay. So say you give can you give a statement of if then? Anything that you want. Something that you think is simple. If something, then what? If today is raining, then
then I can't go out.
You can go out. If today is
Yeah.
raining, then you can go out. Okay. Today is raining is P. You can go out is Q. Okay. So now, if today is raining, can be true or false, right? Say today is not raining. Okay. If today is not raining and you can go out. Okay. If today is not raining and you can go out, it's true. Okay. If today is not raining and you cannot go out, it's also true. But based on your statement that today is raining and then you can go out, this is not true. Today is raining, then I cannot go out. Correct? Because it will what is that? Contrary to your first statement. Okay, so you can put any statement of if then. Give any other example. Anyone? So when we say if P then Q, P is one statement. Q is another statement, which is the consequence. Okay. Now you can try to play with it. Okay. So you can play with if not. So if not true, then false. If not false, then true. Correct? Okay, so you play with that. So then you will see which statement is actually not correct. Okay, give me an example. Anthony or Matthew, give me an example of if then, something that you like. If what? Anyone can give a statement of if then. Tamara.
If I am hungry, then I will eat.
If I am hungry, then I will eat. Okay. So P is I'm hungry. Right? Q is I will eat. Now, assuming your statement is correct, right? Is P then Q. If I'm hungry, then I will eat. Now, if I said like this, if I'm hungry, then I will not eat. True or false?
False.
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 False because it's contradict your first statement, right? But now I will say like this. If I'm not hungry, then I will not eat. Oh, sorry. If I'm not hungry, then I will eat.
False.
Or false. If I'm not hungry, there is no connection, so still true. It doesn't contradict the first statement, okay?
Oh, so that's why if the premise false and the conclusion true, then it becomes true. The
Yes.
if and then.
Yes. Okay, the same thing. Now, if I'm not hungry, right, and I will not eat, of course, true. Clear, yeah? So, the if, okay, then statement is always false when you contradict your own statement. Okay. When there is no connection of it, okay, like the premise is actually false, right? There is no connection to it. Well, it's still true anyway. Right? Okay, give any other statement. if you want. This is so important because if you are not convinced with this, okay, the whole course, one semester is actually about this only. Yes, it's about if then only. Okay. When you debate, it's the same thing. Okay, when you want to find the inconsistency of other people argument, okay, you don't do fallacy, right? So you try to find the inconsistency by checking whether the premise is true but the conclusion is false. Right? Okay, give me any other example of if then.
If I study,
Yeah, Coco.
if I study, then I will be smart.
If I study, then I will be smart. Okay, what is P? I study, correct? What is Q? I will be smart. So now, your statement, if I study, then I will be smart. Okay, if P, then Q. Okay, that is true, right? Okay, now what happens if I reverse this? Okay, so if I study, then I will not be smart. It's against the first statement. Then this is false. The whole argument is false. Now, let's say, if I don't study, then I will be smart. Well, there's no connection. If I don't study, I will be smart from something else. Maybe I'm lucky. Maybe my IQ is so high. Right? Meaning there is no connection. The third argument, the third row there is that the premise that is false, not necessarily, okay, have something connection to the conclusion there. So again, that is still true. Okay. The last one, if I don't study, then I will not be smart. It's also true because that's exactly the same statement as the first one. Clear now? Okay.
So I want to ask,
Mm-hmm.
the formula, is it only work on true or false?
Logic is about true and false only.
So we cannot change the true to statement.
What do you mean? Statement like what?
It's only true and false. I cannot change the P to if I were hungry and Q to I will eat. We cannot do that.
You can, of course. So you assign if I'm hungry is P.
But the formula won't work, right?
The formula won't work. What do you mean?
If P then Q.
Oh, the formula in Excel.
Yes.
Will not work, of course.
Okay.
You, the one who assigned the meaning of variables. Okay. In Excel, will not work. So Excel can only put in terms of variables. That's why you need to know how to assign your sentence into variables so that the computer can help you. Correct? Okay. Later on, the statements are more complex than this, isn't it? Okay. So how you will find the truth value is you assign, okay, your statement or part of your statement into variables. It is P, Q, R, and so on. Okay. Then you define. So I defined it a while ago. Okay, something like this. Can you see my Excel? Okay, this is the argument a while ago, right? So if I'm hungry, then I will eat. So I will put T is I'm hungry, Q mean I will eat. The same thing, if I studied, I will be smart. So P, if I study, Q mean I will be smart. Okay, once you put this P and Q, then you can put it into Excel, then you do. Of course, Excel have capability, but probably there is some other software that can do theorem prover, can help you with that. I'm not sure if my software can do. Oh, let me check. So I created the theorem prover. Here. You go to my website in Refolder 2. There is an automatic theorem prover, and you can go to GitHub, download here, and then you can also use this software. Okay, so this is the theorem prover that I created. Okay, so something like this. Okay. Again, you still need to put axiom P implies Q and so on. Okay. But somewhat a little bit better than Excel. Okay, you can put more complex. So for example, you could P, Q something like this, and then you can put implies. Can you see it? So all the rules we can start to play with it. Okay. Later on, you will learn about how to turn, exponent, and so on. Yes, you can put something else like this. So if you have a variable inside the proposition, so man mortal, man X mortal, like that. This is the one that you put in. Okay. So it's not, of course, this is Excel can do, right? But the theorem prover that we make can do. Okay. Okay, the page, you can go to GitHub. Where is the chat? Okay, go on. This is the page in GitHub. Okay. And this is the tutorial in my page. Okay. So you can play. Okay. It's not perfect, but at least it helped in later on. Yeah, there probably still a lot of bugs. Yeah, it's open source anyway. So if there is a bug, so you can fix it and then put it there also. It's open source. Okay. Any other question about the if-then truth table? The meaning, can you start to understand? Right? So in logic, okay, you have a statement. Okay. This statement you think of premises or conclusion. After that, okay, if you want to use computer, you put this statement into variable. Okay. After you put into variable, then you use computer to check for you. So the computer can only check at this point. Okay, probably you, in your thesis or so on, you can improve what I make. Anyway, it's open source, so you can make it. Okay, so then you can make it what you want. For example, if I just put a statement instead of just variable, oh, that's good. Right. It's a challenge for you. Yeah. At this point, up to this only. Okay. Okay, let's continue with the argument. Where is the argument? Okay. Tautology means everything is true. Okay. I will show you next time in the next slide. Okay, so that you will understand this. Okay. So our task today is to identify the argument. Okay. Any argument, in any argument, there is an intention. Okay. There's an intention that the premises would support or prove the conclusion. So then how I know that this is an argument, right? That's your question. How do I know that this is an argument? Sometimes, okay, or most of the time probably, you can see it is an argument based on what is called inference indicator. Okay, what is inference indicator? Inference indicator are words or phrases, okay, used to signal the presence of an argument. Okay, there are two types of inference indicator. One is premises, a premise indicator. The second one is, of course, conclusion indicator. Okay, so premise indicator and conclusion indicator are the main clues. Okay, it's just a clue. Okay, in identifying argument and analyzing the structure of argument. Okay, remember, conclusion indicator is a signal that the sentence which contain term or to which they are prefixed is a conclusion from the previously stated premises. What is premise indicator? Is another signal, word, phrases, that the sentence to which they are prefixed is a premise. Okay? But some argument have no indicator at all. So how do you know this is an argument? Then you rely on your context, yeah? The contextual clues, okay, or the understanding of the intention. What is the intention behind these statements? Okay. So what are the premise indicator that often used? These are the words. Okay. For, since, because, okay, assuming that, seeing that, granted that, this is true because the reason is that, okay, for the reason that. So all of these lists, okay, are in the beginning of any premise, right? So when you see this word, then you will say, this is probably a premise. Yeah, not always, probably, most probably. That's why we call it clue, okay? How about conclusion indicator? Oh, you know that, okay? In conclusion, as the result, okay, or sometimes the moral is, yeah, the simplest is so, thus, therefore, hence, for this reason, accordingly. These are the word or the phrase that used to create a conclusion. And so we call this conclusion indicator. Right? So let's practice. Okay, let's practice. How do we practice this? Okay. Identify the premise, the conclusion, and their indicator. He is not at home, so he has gone to the movie. Which one is the premise, which one is the conclusion, and which one is the indicator?
Premise is so he has gone to the movie. The conclusion is he is not at home. The indicator is so.
So the premise is he is not home. Okay. The conclusion is he has gone to the movie. The indicator is so, that's correct. But why? Why the premise is he is not home? Not like what Matthew said. So you can see after so is the conclusion. Remember, so is one of the conclusion indicator, isn't it? So is it clear? So when you see a statement like this, okay, look at first what you will do. Oh, I will look at the indicator. Okay, is this conclusion indicator or is this a premise indicator? So the indicator here is so. Right? Then after so, it must be the conclusion. And the other one is the premise. Is it clear? Okay, next. How about this? What is the indicator?
Since.
See, huh?
Since.
Since. Okay. Since is indicator of what?
Premise.
Premise, okay, not conclusion. So in that case, what is the premise?
He has gone to the movie.
Yes. And what is the conclusion?
He's not at home.
Yes. So look at the sentence this earlier and this one. It's exactly the same. Okay. The difference is the indicator, isn't it? A while ago, the indicator is so. In here, the indicator is since. So the result will be very much different. Okay. The premise in here is he has gone to the movie. A while ago, when I said so, that become conclusion. Okay, up to here. Try to compare the two practices.
So the indicator is up to us, right, to use which one.
The indicator is
There are no specific, like if the statement is the opposite, it has to use the which indicator. There are no.
So based on the indicator, you will know which one is the premise and the conclusion. Now, if you cannot find the indicator, then it is a little bit more difficult, right? So if you find the indicator, that's easier. So you just check in the list, what is this indicator? Oh, this is a premise indicator. Then, okay, the statement after that indicator is the premise. Oh, this is a conclusion indicator. Okay, yeah? That means after it will become the prefix. That means after that is the conclusion. Is it clear or your question? Super clear. Okay, thank you. Okay, next. Oh, this one. How about this? Since he is not at home, he has gone to the movie. What is the indicator?
Since.
Since. Okay. what is the, since is a premise indicator or conclusion indicator? Check again.
Premise.
Premise. So in this case, the premise is
He is not at home.
yeah. Okay. And then the conclusion is
He has gone to the movie.
yeah. Okay. Correct. Right? Oh, very good. Okay. Now be careful with the next one. Okay. Since in here that have different meaning. Okay. Since here, it has been 6 years since we went to France. Since here represent duration, not an inference. Not the since earlier mean because, right? So that one is an inference. In here, the since here is not an indicator. Okay, so be careful when you hear the word since. What is the meaning? How about this? Again, this is another, because is usually an indicator, right? But in this case, it's not, okay? For example, the boy said, why? Yes, please.
You're not sharing anything.
I'm not sharing anything. Oh my goodness. Okay, can you see it?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Actually, you can follow because the slide is with you already, right? You can download the slide from Google Classroom. So actually, you can follow this. Okay. So the boy said, "Why did you sell your bike?" The girl said, "I sold it because I needed the money." Okay. So in this context, because is not a premise indicator. Yeah? There is no argument here. Okay. The respondent here, the girl, is merely explaining why she sold her bike. She is not trying to prove that she did so. Okay, look at the intention. So this is not an argument. Okay, the same thing here. He was angry and he remained thus for several days. The word thus here, this is an English problem. Okay. The word thus here indicate in this condition, not therefore. And hence it is not functioning as conclusion indicator. Okay. So be careful with the English. Okay. Okay. Now, in the standard argument, you have premises. If premises, then conclusion. Okay. But you can also do it different way, non-standard form. Okay. Conclusion, since, premises. Okay. So look at the arrow there. Okay. Conclusion, since, premises. So it is possible to do that. Okay. So now in the next few practices, okay, you're supposed to create the standard form. What is the standard form? If premise, thus conclusion. Okay. So how do you create the standard form? First, you find the inference indicator, either premise indicator or conclusion indicator. Okay. Second, in the statement, you create bracket. Okay. Bracket in each statement to ease your reference. After that, you give number to the bracket. Okay. After that, the fourth one that is not here is to draw. Okay. To draw the if then. Okay. To draw the if then, you will create a diagram of argument. Okay. Let's practice. Okay. So rewrite the argument below in the standard form. Okay. Al Capone was not all that clever. Had he been clever, the IRS would never have gotten him convicted on income tax evasion charge. Al Capone was one of the notorious criminal in Chicago. Okay. So he was quite clever actually. So they cannot capture him. But finally, the way to capture him is to use the tax, tax evasion. So how to rewrite the argument in the standard form? Okay, again, remember, you find the inference indicator and then you put bracket and then you put numbers there, yeah? So here it is. Okay. You put bracket there. Al Capone was not all that clever. And then the second bracket, had he been clever, the IRS would never been gotten him convicted on income tax evasion charge. And then you put number. Okay. And then you put it into a standard form. Okay. Which one is P? Which one is C? Right? So the standard form always have premise and then conclusion. Okay, so you know number 2 is the premise. Okay, number 1 is the conclusion. Any question? Okay, let's try. You try. So we have 3 statements here. And you find the indicator and then you give number, you put bracket and then you give number. And then you tell me which one is the premises, which one is the conclusion. Your exam is something like this. Huh? Okay, what you will do, you will put bracket. Yeah? You copy and paste this from your slide, put it in the notepad, right? And then you put bracket and put number. So once you're done, you share your screen. Anyone want to share screen? Anyone else?
So we just need to determine the conclusion and
Yes, which one is conclusion? So you have 1, 2, 3. You tell me one is premise or okay. You already make bracket, but you need to tell me which one is conclusion, which one is premise.
The conclusion is politicians are hypocritical.
Mm-hmm.
About the first premise, the politicians say we should pay more taxes in the national deficit is to be kept under control. And premise 2 is the politician also waste huge amount of money on their election campaigns. So they are hypocrites.
Yes, the conclusion is they are hypocrite. Yeah, very good, very good. Okay, so let's try the next practice, okay, so that you will see. Wait, I need to share my screen, right? Next practice. Okay, again, the same thing, okay? Rewrite the argument below in the standard form. That means what? You need to find the premises. Oh, this is finished.
this is already.
Yeah, this is already finished. How about this? Coal-argon compound are not likely to be produced even in the laboratory, much less in nature. It is difficult to make argon react with anything, and since coal too form a few compounds. Oh, it's just one sentence, so can you find the premise and the conclusion? Okay, first you need to bracket with number. Okay, you copy and paste into Notepad and from your slide, and then put bracket, put numbers. Okay, and then you tell me premise is number what? Need to be able to identify, yeah, an argument. That means you need to know which one is premise, which one is conclusion. It's nice practice.
Can I try?
Yeah, cool. Go ahead. Can you share your screen
Share my screen. Okay, wait.
so that the others can also see? Yeah.
Can you see my screen
Yes.
here?
Make it larger. Make it larger. Okay.
I don't know how to make it larger.
Okay.
Can you see this one?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So the premise is it's difficult to make argon react with anything.
Yes.
Second one is gold forms few compounds because there's a sense here.
Yes. There's since there. Correct.
And then the conclusion is gold argon compounds are not likely to be produced in even in the lab.
Very good. Very good, Tamara. Okay. How about the others? Can you find the same premises and conclusion? Or you're still finding it? Anyone else want to share?
Yes, my
Hmm.
answer is same with Tamara.
Ah, you got the same answer. Good. Jocelyn, is it the same or you have different?
Same with Tamara too.
Same, eh? Okay. Okay, so I guess you all have the same. Okay, let's go to the next practice. Okay, so where's the next practice? How about this one? Inflation has dropped considerably while interest rates have remained high. In real term borrowing has become more expensive since under this condition, borrowed money cannot, as it would be when the inflation was higher, be paid back in highly inflated dollar. So now you need to find again, you put bracket, okay, and then put numbers, and then tell me which one is the conclusion, which one is the premises. Okay, you put in the standard form. So you find it in the, again, you copy and paste, put in the next notepad, okay, so that you can start to put the bracket there. Yeah, I know the answer is there, but if you practice on your own, okay, then you start to feel differently. Once you finish, you can share your screen. There are a few of you. Sure.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, so the premise one is on sentence one in bracket one. Inflation has dropped considerably while
Mhm.
interest rates have remained high. And the
Mhm.
premise two is here because it's since, so it
Okay.
becomes premise.
Correct.
And then the conclusion is the second sentence in second bracket.
Wow. Yes. This is actually difficult. You're correct. Very good, Alicia. Okay. So look at that. If you look at the in this practice, the conclusion is not in the beginning, is not the end, but in the middle. Okay. So it can be, right? Okay. Those who did not finish, try to do it. Okay. Try to make a bracket, put numbers. Okay. And okay, I will share my screen.
Sir, I want to ask.
Yes, please.
So if we want to know the conclusion, we have to analyze the sentence based on the sentence, yes, sir.
Correct.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Right. You need to understand the sentence first. So this is beyond reading comprehension, isn't it? Right. So in reading comprehension, usually in English, you just learn the meaning. But this one is after the meaning, you need to distinguish which one is the premise, which one is the conclusion. Okay. After that, you need to throw. So I will show you the throwing. Okay. Drawing is rather simple. So we have like this, right? So can you see my screen? Not yet. I will share my screen. Can you see it? So when you draw, what you will draw is something like this. I will put color here. So you put 1, 2 is your premise, right? So then the conclusion is number, 3, yeah. 1 and 3. 1 and 3. Oh, I will erase first. This chart. I will put it again. Okay. So 1. Oh, where is my pen? Okay. So 1 and 3, right? The conclusion is number 2. So this is an argument diagram. Okay. So the premise, okay, with the arrow to the conclusion. Okay. How about earlier? The same thing, yeah. So in the earlier you said the conclusion is number 1, right? So in this case, how do you make a diagram? Okay. So you have 2, okay, and 3, okay, become number 1. Okay, so you make an argument diagram, 2 and 3, conclusion is number 1. Okay. Same with earlier. How about this? Right. So here, how do you make the diagram? How do you make the diagram here? What number?
2, 3, and 1.
Okay, 2 and 3, and then become 1. Right? So you make an argument diagram like this. Okay. Any question? How to make the diagram, the argument diagram. So you put the premise, okay, and then you put arrow. Okay. If you have 3 premises, then you put together, okay, as one line, and then you go to the arrow. You create an arrow to the conclusion. Any question? You can make an argument diagram, right? Easy. Yeah. Once you make the first, you do the bracket, okay, and then put number, right? Identify the inference indicator, right? Then you tell which one is premise, which one is conclusion. Okay, and then you draw the diagram. Okay, yeah. Okay, so next. Go to the complex argument. So sometimes, okay, your argument, okay, is complex. Why? Because you see, you have first you have a conclusion, okay, based on the set of premises. Then you have another premise, and then you join with that conclusion to create the second conclusion. And then you have another premise, okay? You join with the second conclusion to create the third conclusion. Okay. So if I put it, say you have an argument diagram, something like this. So you have 1 and 2, you create conclusion of C, C1, okay? And then now you have a premise number 3, you create another conclusion named C2. You have another argument number 4 and number 5, and then you create another conclusion named C3. Okay, so this is complex argument, okay? Meaning you have argument that proceed in stages. Clear? Any question about complex argument? So if you have only 1 and 3 become 2, this is not complex, yeah? This is one state, isn't it? But if you have multiple conclusion in the next stage, that become complex argument. Clear, yeah? Okay, so this is an example of practice. Okay, let's do a practice. Okay, try this. All rational numbers are expressible as a ratio of integer, but pi is not expressible as a ratio of integer. Therefore, pi is not a rational number. Yet clearly, pi is a number. Thus, there exists at least one non-rational number. Oh, so can you identify, okay, which one is the premise, which one is the conclusion, okay, and then you draw the argument diagram. Okay. Again, the technique is the same. Okay, the technique is you copy and paste this into a Word or Notepad, okay, and then you put bracket, you keep numbers, and then you identify which one is premise, which one is conclusion, and then you draw the diagram. Tell me.
I try.
Explain.
The first premise is all rational numbers are expressible as a ratio of integers. Premise 2 is pi is not expressible as a ratio of integers. So the first conclusion is the pi is not a rational number. And then the first conclusion become the third premise.
Premise of the.
And the fourth premise is pi is a number. Therefore, the last conclusion, the second conclusion, is there exists at least one non-rational number.
Can you draw the diagram? Either from the numbers or from the P1, P2.
Is it like this?
Very good. Yes, very good. Okay. Very good. So, yes.
Sir, I want to
Yes.
ask.
Oh, please go.
On the number, on the previous answer, P1 and P2 become conclusion, right? And conclusion plus premise 3 become conclusion 2.
Right.
Can we assume the conclusion 1 as premise?
The premise of the conclusion 1 now become premise of the conclusion 2. Right. In the
We can assume that.
Not assume, that is actual. Conclusion 1 now become premise of the conclusion 2. Right. That is correct. In a complex argument, okay, so the first argument, in the simple argument, you have only premise and conclusion. Right? But when you have complex argument, okay, you have several stages. Okay? In the first stage, you have premise, conclusion. Okay? In the second stage, you have the premise plus the previous conclusion, right? And then now the conclusion become premise for the next one. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. The conclusion now become premise. That's what you're asking, right? Okay. So any other question? So I will share my screen again. So this is what you have earlier, right? Okay. The difference is numbering, that is fine, okay? So I put P3 instead of P4. So the C1 become and P3 become the premises for C2. And the diagram is shown also here. Okay, so you want one more practice for the complex argument, but I don't have it in this is the new one, but I already put numbering here. So let me put the number in different colors so that you will see. Here I already put the number and the bracket. Okay. All you need to do is to create the diagram. Can you see it? We have 1 to 8. Very complex. Okay. We have 1 to 8. Yeah, we're still sharing this. So all you need to do is to create the argument diagram. So the question probably, how many stages?
I think it's 3 stages.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you draw the diagram and then show to your friend.
Can I use annotate in the Zoom?
Yes, of course. Mhm. Mhm. Wow, excellent, Jocelyn. Yes. Excellent. Okay. How about the others? Can you find the same?
I found the same.
Yeah, okay. Very good. So with this, you can already create the argument diagram, right? You can identify the argument, correct? Okay, you will know which one is premise, which one is the conclusion, even the complex argument you can do. So then you will have assignment. So last time you already find the article. If that is still difficult, you can change your article. So right, you find an article, either news or scientific article from the internet, okay, at least one paragraph, okay, and then it's supposed to contain an argument. Okay, if the article does not contain any argument, no need to use. Okay, use the other article. Okay, and then the same thing. You identify the statement. Okay, put bracket, put number, and then draw the diagram. Okay. Okay. This is practice practically. So can we do it individual, or you want to put it in the group?
Group, sir, group.
Sure. But make sure that the group mean you work together, okay? Not one person do and then the others just copy. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, group then. Okay, that's good. So we have now it's 14. You want to continue? We have 10 minutes, or you want to stop here? That's your choice. You want to continue? We go to the next slide with this evaluation argument. Vote. Okay. Who want to continue? 10 minutes. One. The others, okay, who doesn't want to continue? And stop here first. For that one, the evaluation argument is next week. 1. Oh, 1 and 1. The others is abstain. Very funny. Oh, 2. Okay. So, okay then. Tell me, what did you learn today in that case?
Identifying argument.
Okay, what is the meaning of identity argument?
Knowing if the statement is argument or not. And many more.
Many more. Is this too much or too little? So it's probably 1 chapter. So yeah, in 1 chapter in the book. So I summarize it. Become less than 2 hours. Very good, right? So the book is there in the Google Classroom. Okay, please read. Okay. They go beyond the chapters or the material that I give in the class. So I think when you read it, you get something new insight, a lot of new insight. Okay. And especially if you have time to read the additional material, the additional reading, those are the interesting books. Okay. Okay then. So thank you very much for today. Matthew, you want to show your QR code or something? Go ahead.
I'll just manually, sir.
Oh, you will do manually. Okay.
Yes. Sir, the topic is argument, right? Argument.
Argument.
Yes.
Okay, right. Same as the slide. Okay, thank you very much. So see you
Thank you, sir.
next week. And
See you. Thank you, sir.
Thank
yeah,
you.
thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.